From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
What Arizona's immigrants are learning about their rights at ongoing forums around the valley.
Oh, it's people. Hey.
And hospitals are implementing new ways to handle pain that doesn't involve taking pills, how virtual reality serves as therapy.
Plus, we take a ride off the grid to a solar-powered bar.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Anthony Mitchell.
And I'm Veronica Acosta. Thank you for joining us. Growing concerns about mass deportations have led several organizations to hold forums for immigrant families. I attended one of these forums hosted by the Phoenix Union High School District to learn more about the effort.
Where are your parents from? Are you kidding me? We have the right to remain silent.
Volunteers put on a role-play exercise to show families how to handle being stopped by immigration authorities. It's part of Phoenix Union High School District's effort to inform parents.
So we were calling it Immigration Community Resource Fair to provide our families with know your rights, with role plays, with resources, and then their agencies are here to connect with their families to provide them one-on-one support.
Support in case a loved one is detained by immigration authorities or deported.
You hear on the news families being separated, students or individuals with DACA being deported.
The forum offered help on where to find legal representation and how to designate a parental power of attorney for U.S. citizen children.
Pues mírame, sí, estoy nervioso ahorita.
This parent was so nervous and afraid he'd only give us his first name, Sixto. He said he's thankful for the information and urges more families to participate in these immigration forums. The Phoenix Union High School District plans to hold more of these immigration information events in the near future, but does not have specific dates yet.
2 Arizonans whose children were killed by undocumented immigrants attended an unveiling today by the Department of Homeland Security in Washington. The department launched the Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement Office, or VOICE, which fulfills a promise by President Trump to focus on families affected by immigrants convicted of crimes. Director of Homeland Security John Kelly said that the mission of the office is clear.
All crime is terrible, but these victims, as represented here, are unique, and they're all too often ignored. They're casualties of crimes that should never have taken place because the people who victimized them should never have been here in our country. These crimes in many ways were preventable, but because of years and years of policies complicating immigration and enforcement efforts and a politically correct approach to public safety, there are mothers who will never again receive a Mother's Day card from a son.
Another turn in the nation's capital for the future of health care. A key Arizona representative in the renewed debate sat down with Washington Bureau reporter Tyler Fingert.
Tonight, try number 2 for the American Health Care Act. Just a month after being pulled by House leaders, the Republican-backed effort to repeal and replace Obamacare once again picking up steam in the House. The House Freedom Caucus, the stumbling block before, appears to be changing course. In a statement this afternoon, the caucus says it is in support of the current proposal. This latest version includes a new amendment that will allow states to repeal cost-driving aspects of Obamacare. Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar, a member of that caucus, sat down for a one-on-one interview with Cronkite News today.
This is a bill that would make the situation maybe a little bit more tolerable for most Americans. And the key components that we were looking at, of all these myriad of bad things within this bill that most conservatives could not stand, we wanted to drive down the cost and give people choice.
Representative Gosar says the new bill is not perfect, but it's a step in the right direction.
This is not repeal of Obamacare. It's making the situation more tolerable for the men and women who are depending upon health care on Main Street.
While the amendment is being touted as a way to lower costs, House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi doesn't see it that way. In a statement today, she said Republicans continue to make it even more cruel and costly for America's families. Even if it gets out of the Republican-controlled House, the bill still has to survive the Senate before reaching the president's desk. Tyler Fingert, Cronkite News.
Arizona taxpayers already pay 20% less in federal taxes than the national average, and a new tax plan by President Trump looks to cut individual taxes. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says the plan will be, quote, the biggest tax cut in U.S. history.
The difference between 1.6, 1.8, and 3% GDP is staggering. It's trillions of dollars of revenues. It's tons of jobs. This bill is about creating economic growth and jobs.
Corporate and individual tax rate will be slashed, and several taxes will be repealed, including the estate tax. The number of personal income tax brackets will be cut from 7 to 3. Mnuchin says the plan will lower the debt to GDP ratio and increase revenues. White House officials are adamant that the plan will not add to the deficit.
A collective effort from Arizona leaders and law enforcement are trying to fill hundreds of vacant positions across the state. Reporter Nicole Gutierrez explains why departments need to hire so many.
The Department of Public Safety, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, and the Phoenix Police Department are just a few of the agencies that need to fill their vacant positions. Now they're asking the community for help.
NAU's partnership with law enforcement has brought 3 Arizona leaders together in hopes of reaching out to the community to encourage people to apply for their departments.
Because of the economic downturn, the agencies weren't hiring for 8 years. So Phoenix didn't hire for 8 years. Now you have people who are retiring, so the attrition rate, they can't hire enough to keep up with the attrition rate.
Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Pinzon was one of the speakers that discussed what position his department is in.
We are facing trying times. And for each agency here and others throughout the valley, we are depleted of resources.
But the past economic downfall isn't the only hurdle law enforcement is facing.
Right now, it's been hard for us to recruit in the sense that there's been a lot of negativity around law enforcement. Look, the men and women that wear these uniforms at work, you know, we're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with your kids. We go to the same Costco you do. We're just regular people.
Frank Milstead, director of the Department of Public Safety, also stated that people interested in law enforcement have the opportunity to experience the field before committing to it.
You want to be a DPS trooper? Come out and ride. Sign up for a ride along. Go spend a couple nights in a trooper's car and see what they do.
Although there's critical need to fill positions, it doesn't mean the departments will take desperate measures.
You know, my offer is this. We are not looking for individuals who want a job. We're looking for individuals who are going to invest in a career, because law enforcement is a career opportunity.
A career opportunity that Phoenix PD is trying to offer to the community.
What we're looking for is we want to hire members that are part of the community that they're ultimately going to serve.
This Saturday, NAU is hosting a law enforcement career fair in their North Valley location near I-17 and Greenway. More than 14 agencies across the state are expected to attend. In the broadcast center, Nicole Gutierrez, Cronkite News.
The Phoenix Police Department is teaming up with the Arizona Angel Initiative to help people with addictive disorders find treatment. The program encourages addicts to come into the police station and request the help they need.
I might not have made it without them to this day. I no longer run from police. I am now grateful for them.
The Angel Initiative program, those arrested for possession or who voluntarily come to a Phoenix precinct can get treatment. After detox, they transition to the Phoenix Rescue Mission. Users who turn themselves in will not have repercussions or be at risk for jail time as long as they don't have outstanding warrants. Their goal is to eventually implement this program statewide.
91 Americans die from opioid overdoses every day, according to the CDC. A hospital in Metro LA is experimenting with a way to reduce pain without using these drugs. Cronkite News Los Angeles reporter Lauren Negrete sat down with a so-called virtualist doctor who's prescribing virtual reality sessions instead of drugs.
Whoa. Cedars-Sinai Hospital, known for innovation, is knocking out pain in a new way.
We think about virtual reality as a therapy, and what we're trying to do is understand whether, when, and how to use it.
Dr. Spiegel says virtual reality therapy is an opportunity to treat pain and anxiety without dangerous opioids.
And so we tell them to use it for at least 10 minutes 3 times a day, and then as long as they need to if they're having pain. We're doing a new study right now to see if that regimen helps reduce opioid medication usage, reduce pain scores.
Oh, it's people. Hey.
Dr. Spiegel has over 30 visualizations to help his patients, including this aerial view of Iceland. It's a 360 video, so you can look up and down and all around.
It's pretty relaxing. especially with the music and everything, and then the different scenery, like almost made me forget I was here.
I mean, I can get far closer to them than I could in the gallery.
Todd Richmond is showing us a virtual reality art project at USC's Creative Institute.
And then I can make them spin.
Richmond believes in the power of virtual reality to fight pain, but he's researching why it works so he can make it even more effective. And he hopes doctors prescribe it with caution.
Those VR prescriptions presumably could be misused as well, and we want to understand how those mechanisms will take place as well, so we can try and figure out how we can navigate that and make it safer for people.
For patients at Cedars-Sinai, the technology reduced pain by about 25%, bringing these patients a much-needed escape.
This is an immersive experience that could be used to transport patients who are locked in a hospital room.
In Los Angeles, Lauren Negrete, Cronkite News.
Company is searching for volunteers for a pilot program.
But if you sign up, you'll be riding shotgun. Coming up, how you could get an opportunity for a free ride in a driverless car.
And Ducey also has a decision to make about a highly anticipated dyslexia handbook bill that is used in just 14 other states.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Now.
President Trump signed an executive order today on education, calling it the Every Student Succeeds Act. Its goal? Give all control of educational matters back to the states.
This executive order directs Secretary DeVos to review current federal regulations and ensure that they don't obstruct the ability of states, local governments, teachers, and most importantly, parents to make the best decision for their students and in many cases for their children.
The Every Student Succeeds Act was a good step in this direction, giving flexibility to states to best meet the needs of their communities. We're going to implement this law as Congress intended, not how the previous administration dictated.
Arizona's newest answer to the teacher shortage problem is to train better principals. The Beat the Odds School Leadership Academy launches today and will provide training to current and future principals. Governor Doug Ducey says he wants to see teacher salaries increase, but he also wants to put policies forward that improve the education system.
So it's about teacher salaries, but it's also about principal leadership and executive training, and that's what this program does. It's a $250,000 investment, and we think it has a great return on that investment for our schools and for those teachers.
Phoenix Unified School District will be the first district to try out the academy, with 15 principals and administrators participating in the training along with 8 leaders from partner districts. The program lasts for 12 to 15 months and goes over leadership strategies, standards-based educational systems, and instructional practices for core subjects.
Back in February, Cronkite News took an inside look at a new bill that would provide a universal dyslexic handbook for the state. That bill has now made its way out of the legislature. Cronkite News reporter Joe Constantine has been following the bill's progress.
2 months ago, I visited the Wellington Alexander Center in Scottsdale to get an inside look at how students with dyslexia currently get treatment. The new dyslexia handbook will standardize treatment across the board for dyslexic students.
They can do exercises, learn exercises where they can actually do a lot of the home techniques before the kids go to school or while they're going to school.
Representative Jill Nogard and a group of students met with members of the Arizona Department of Education to discuss the dyslexia handbook. Nogard proposed the bill that made the handbook a reality. Fourth grader Charlie Levitas believes the bill could help thousands of children.
Well, I'm happy because, it helps those other kids a lot. It really does.
gives them those chance for the teachers to be able to help them.
The Dyslexia Handbook is similar to others already in 14 states. Roughly 17% of students in the country have some sort of dyslexia, according to Understood.org.
Why wouldn't we use a C in that one?
Norgaard talked about how the handbook would provide a universal definition.
From district to district, we don't have a consistent way of identifying and addressing dyslexia, and even within districts, from school to school, it's not been consistent. And then if a child goes from one district and moves to another district, there's not a seamless way that the dyslexia decoding and intervention is transferred from one district to another.
Parents are hoping the handbook could also help more schools be able to treat students and end families having to foot the bill.
But you would have to actually go outside of the district and spend thousands of dollars. That's just not feasible. It's not sustainable for most normal families.
The bill passed through the Senate final read with a vote of 29 for and 0 against. The bill has been transmitted to the governor's desk and now awaits to be signed. In the broadcast center, Joe Constantine, Cronkite News.
Robots and artificial intelligence are used to help us get stuff done.
There's still much to learn about their potential. Coming up on Cronkite News, a team at Arizona State University is finding ways to strengthen the connection between human and robot communication.
Red flag warnings are popping up in southern Arizona, what this means for the wildfire burning there, and what this could mean for our valley the next few days. Coming up next.
Heaven knows you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Hey, would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life. This is what counts. This is for us. I will go
You could be part of a pilot program to be in the passenger seat. Self-driving car company Waymo is looking for a couple hundred people for their early rider program, giving them access to their fleet of self-driving cars free of charge.
We've spent time, refining our self-driving technology, and we wanted to take the next step and hear from users about how they want to use self-driving technology, how it might benefit them in their lives as we think about commercializing it.
Early rider program will have access to Waymo's fleet of 600 cars any time of the day. Users will call those cars through an app and can be driven anywhere in the Phoenix area. You must be 18 years or older to apply.
Controlling a robot using just your mind. 3 doctoral students studying computer science at ASU are working on just that, ways humans can communicate with robots using brainwaves and augmented reality. Cronkite News reporter Cassidy McDonald found out how these techniques could be implemented in the workplace.
Already, robots and artificial intelligence are used to get tasks done. But what's next in the technology? That's what the ASU team who took part in the 2017 U.S. finals of the Microsoft Imagine Cup are figuring out.
So automation is inevitable, right? So it's a lot of jobs already lost in that case. Many countries have shown that if you put humans and robots together in the workplace, you not only improve employment, you also improve productivity.
The ASU-led project by 3 doctoral students examines how to safely and effectively allow humans and robots to communicate communicate.
But with half robots, half humans, it becomes difficult. A couple of years back in the Volkswagen factory, when there was actually a fatal incident when a robot killed a human worker. The human couldn't tell what the robot was going to do.
The doctoral team says that communication between humans and robots would allow for increased productivity in the workplace by allowing them to anticipate each other's movements and project goals.
The main thing that is required in such scenarios is for the robot to understand humans' perspective of how the environment looks.
The team say they do this with augmented reality and brainwave technology.
So these brain waves, they usually capture like mental states of the humans, relaxed, stressed, excited. The robot would come and help the human depending on the human's current state.
The team believes that these collaborations will be much more common in the workplace within 5 years.
We're trying to invent the society we're going to live in, and I would be very depressed if the society I live in basically has no actual place for humans. They should be working together.
We believe in augmentation, using robots as an augmentation rather than a replacement.
The team is in the process of conducting human practice studies to see how humans will respond to these new communication techniques. In Tempe, Cassidy McDonald, Cronkite News.
The ASU Robotics doctoral team has discussed their findings at international artificial intelligence and robotics conferences. They hope to continue to improve the methods in which humans and robots communicate after analyzing the results from their human practice studies.
A wildfire in southern Arizona has doubled in size to over 62 square miles. The fire has been burning around the Santa Rita Mountains since Saturday and is believed to be human-caused. The fire is still only 7% contained, and a team of Arizona hotshots are expected to arrive on scene soon. Authorities in Cochise County are keeping pre-evacuation notices in place for those in rural areas.
Some good news, though, for those near the wildfire in Tucson. The winds are calmer out today.
But could windy conditions return? Lauren Herberger is in the Weather Center with a look at your forecast.
That's right, the winds did start off calmer today, but in the last few hours, a red flag warning has popped up here for southern Arizona. That is in the area where that wildfire is burning. So unfortunately, another watch that we have to look out for in that area. We'll be monitoring the winds and conditions over the next few days. As for here in the valley, winds are a whole lot calmer. They were about 40 miles per hour yesterday, but today high around 16 miles per hour, which we can see right now. And they're gonna calm down tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to see highs around 10, anywhere to 15 miles per hour winds as well. As for your next few days, temperature-wise, it's going to be about 93 degrees tomorrow, sunny skies, and then dip back down into the 80s. Saturday is going to be gorgeous, 83 degrees, sunny skies, perfect day to get outside. And then the rest of the week, we're going to warm back up into the 90s. We're still looking for that 100-degree day, and we could possibly see it next week. Lauren Hornberger, Cronkite Weather.
If you're craving a nice cold beer, you may just head down the street to your local bar.
But some people prefer to go to the most remote parts of Arizona for a drink. Coming up on Cronkite News, we take a ride to this hidden bar perfect for disconnecting.
Fascinating.
You know, sometimes I wish I wasn't so beloved.
Can't you see? Little girl got a hold on me like wow. Baby, I'm howling for you.
It's literally one for the history books.
Enjoy.
Every year, thousands of people take the unconventional trip up to this hidden Arizona bar. Alexa Arms takes us up to Parker, Arizona to show us what makes this place such an unusual oasis.
How far would you go for a beer? A 5-mile off-roading adventure up the unpaved Cienega Springs Road will take you to Arizona's most remote bar. A 3-decade-old, off-the-grid, handmade work in progress.
This is what I want to do because I can create anything.
What started out as a 5-stool operation grew into something much bigger thanks to the help of solar energy.
Solar, I mean, with me out here, it's a big thing. Each time you add something, you got to have the power to go with it.
The solar panels capture enough sunlight to power all lights, appliances, and even some air conditioning. These additions have allowed the bar more opportunity to appeal to a larger clientele.
Whether you're an athlete, a movie star, a rich person, a poor person, a person from Europe. Today we had people from Australia. Every type of people come here.
The Desert Bar has become a staple in the Parker community, and it's the hospitality and uniqueness that has drawn people in for over 30 years.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, you know? I mean, it's just like, where else do you find a place like this?
And the greatest thing here is no electronics.
The lack of cell reception also allows for more meaningful conversations.
Anywhere else, everyone's on their cell phones, not here.
The Desert Bar has already begun plans for next season's editions. Aside from more solar panels, what's to come is a surprise. In Parker, Alexa Arms, Cronkite News.
The Desert Bar is open from October until the end of April. This is the last weekend to make a trip up there until next season.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, time again for our weekly update with state legislative leaders. And ASU physicist Lawrence Krauss returns with the latest science news, including word of a new planet that could help in the search for alien life.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour, the first 100 days of the Trump administration. A look at domestic accomplishments and setbacks. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.